Listen to this. It was a Shakespearean tragedy about fleeting memory sprites, the ravenous maw of the untamed heap, and pointers lost like spectral orphans. I mean, wow! This is what someone actually got back from an AI when they were trying to debug a complex memory leak. It's gorgeous, right? And it's completely, totally useless for the job. So, have you ever had that happen? You ask an AI for help with something specific, and you get back, well, a poem? That feeling of frustration, that disconnect where it feels like the AI is on a completely different planet? Yeah, we've all been there. And it's usually a sign that you're trying to play a song with the wrong instrument. And that right there is exactly what we're getting into today. Welcome to The Explainer. We are diving deep into this idea of knowing your instrument. It's all about a super crucial skill, figuring out the unique personality of any AI you're working with. So let's do this. Okay, so first up, the wrong instrument. The whole idea here is that every single AI model has its own, well, its own vibe, its own personality. And if you ignore that, you're setting yourself up for failure.
I mean, think about it like this. You just can't play a banjo like a violin. It's not going to happen. A violin gives you those soaring, beautiful melodies, right? Total precision. A banjo, it's all about that rhythmic, folksy drive. They both make music, but they're completely different characters. And guess what? AI models are exactly the same.
And this brings us back to that wild story from the beginning. So the author was working with this model, Poetron 5000. It was famous for writing just beautiful, incredible stuff. So in a moment of desperation, they asked it to help fix a nasty C++ memory leak. And what did they get back? Yup, that Shakespearean Tragedy. It was this stunning poem about lost data, but it didn't find a single bug. They basically asked a poet for a systems analysis.
So, the big question is, how do you avoid this mess? How do you know if you're holding a banjo or a violin before you get on stage? Well, the answer is something called model profiling. Seriously, think of it like an audition. You're going to interview the AI, get to know it, and figure out its true nature before you trust it with anything important.
And here's your playbook for that audition. It's a whole protocol for testing out the AI's personality. You start super simple, just a hello, to see what its vibe is. Then you move on to the heavy stuff, logic puzzles, creativity tests, how well it handles structure, its tone, its biases, the whole 9 yards. Each one of these steps tells you a little more about the instrument in your hands. And trust me, the results you get from these tests can be, well, they can be amazing. Take a logic test, for example. One model got a classic river crossing puzzle. Its solution? The fox just spontaneously learns how to swim while carrying the goose. I mean, points for creativity. But that tells you something so important. This model will bend the rules of reality to find a solution, even when you need cold, hard logic. But then you flip it around. A creativity test can show you some real magic. One AI was asked for weird uses for a paperclip. Its answer? Use it as a tiny antenna to receive whispers from parallel dimensions. Okay, obviously not practical, but how cool is that? It tells you this model has a fantastic, quirky imagination, perfect for when you need some truly wild brainstorming ideas. And sometimes this whole audition process uncovers these hidden gems, these secret superpowers. There was this general-purpose model, Logicraft Alpha. Nobody thought of it as a formatting tool, but during testing, someone gave it a plain English description of a really complex data structure, and bam, it spit out a perfect, beautifully formatted YAML file. That's a game-changing skill you would never have found otherwise. Okay, so you've done the audition, you've gathered all this intel. Now what? Well, you don't just let it float around in your head, you create something tangible. You make one of these, a model profile card. It's basically a stat sheet for your AI. Look at this one for our poetic buddy, Poetron 5000. It lays it all out, strengths, unbelievable metaphors, great at storytelling. Weaknesses? Yeah, don't ask it for facts or math. It even tells you what it's best for, creative writing, marketing, and gives you a pro tip on how to prompt it. It's like having the ultimate cheat sheet for that specific AI. All right, let's look at another story, this time from a coder's perspective. This is a great cautionary tale about what happens when you grab the wrong instrument for a technical gig. So this new coding AI comes out, OmniCoder X. The hype is huge. It can supposedly handle any language. So what does the author do? They immediately throw some ancient, gnarly COBOL code at it. The result? A complete disaster. Just a garbled mess of syntax. They were ready to just junk the whole thing, call it useless. But then they realized their mistake. They never auditioned it. After actually profiling it, they discovered it was an absolute rock star with modern languages like Python, but totally clueless with old school stuff. See? It wasn't a bad instrument at all. They were just trying to play a COBOL polka on a Pythonic blues Stratocaster. It was never going to work.
And that's the whole point, isn't it? Once you start understanding the unique character of each AI you use, you stop being just a user. You become a conductor. You're not just playing one instrument, you're leading a whole digital orchestra. And that's the wisdom right there. Before you ask an AI to sing your song, take the time to learn its key, its range, and the unique timbre of its voice. Man, that says it all. Taking a few moments to learn your instrument, it's not a chore. It is literally the most powerful thing you can do to make sure you're creating something amazing.
So I'll leave you with this question to think about. What about that AI sitting on your desktop right now, the one you use every day? Have you really taken the time to get to know it, to learn its voice? What secret strengths or critical weaknesses might be hiding just under the surface? Seriously, go give it an audition. Tune up your instruments, and let's see what kind of music you can really make.